Good everyone, I'm this video, and today we have a review on the P-47 D-22 RE, aka the Razorback Thunderbolt. This aircraft has been wanted in War Thunder for God knows how long, like 8 years people have wanted to see this thing, and to be brutally honest, I don't blame them. This thing is probably one of the more recognisable P-47s, other than the teardrops. And I'm kind of glad that they actually have them in the game now. Well, two of them. One of them is a premium in the British territory, which I might get. I'll see. So the P-47 D-22 RE is it felt very much like a D-25, which I would assume they shared the very similar flight model, or at least somewhat. And other than a couple of ordnance changes and a bit less performance in some areas, the D-22 pretty much flies like the D-25. So if you've flown the D-25, this is familiar territory to you. So, in this battle that I'm going to show you today, I was actually a quarter spaded, but obviously we're going to go into the in-depth part first. And let's put it this way. A quarter spaded, try stock. Let's put it that way. The climb rate is horrendous when stock, but to be fair, the D-25 was, so don't expect anything magical. Once you get it spaded, it's not bad, but it's not amazing either. So, starting off the bat, we have 8 50 caliber machine guns, which will be familiar to Thunderbolt pilots. They hit hard, let's put it that way. If you're running what I run, and that's 600 meters convergence with tracer rounds, these guns hit like a train, and it's really nice to just have 8 50 cals to just blow away anything you like. It's really handy when dealing with 264s as well. Other than that, the aircraft doesn't really change in offensive armament. It's just 850 cals and obviously the good performance of the engine. Obviously, the canopy does change, and there's a tiny bit of, I would say it's a bug, but I think this is just a bit of error on Gaijin's modeling part. There's engine armor, which I haven't actually seen a Thunderbolt with armor before, I don't think. At least not from what I remember. And yet there's no backrest armor. This is unusual because from what I've been able to find, most Thunderbolt, well, in fact, nearly all Thunderbolts had backrest armor. It was kind of just like that's kind of their mojo. But you still do get the frontal protection of a bit of steel and a bit of bulletproof glass, so that's at least a positive. But if you're getting attacked from behind, you might get pilot sniped by even 792. So just bear that in mind. But to me, the survivability of this aircraft was debatable at best anyway. Fighting Russians seemed to be the best in terms of durability for this aircraft. Fighting Germans basically made this thing snap in half like a twig, which is nothing new because the Germans have cannons which one shot anyway because of mine shells, but that's understandable. And to be fair, the Thunderbolt just can't stand up to 220mm cannon fire from a Focke-Wulf now, can it? Now, in terms of performance, the high altitude performance is rather good, which there's one user that left a comment a couple of days ago on one of my videos, and he was like, "Oh, the Thunderbolt can't do shit, and it can't outrun anything." And I'm like, "Yes, it can. You just need to keep it wound up." And in this battle, you'll see I didn't actually get the Thunderbolt wound up until I put it in a dive, because, well, a stock Thunderbolt versus a Spitfire at high altitude when I've got no speed is kind of hard to keep speed up. In terms of engine horsepower, we have 2,302 on WEP and 2,000 on normal. Your fuel tanks are very familiar to you as well if you've flown a Thunderbolt. They're in the center and underneath the pilot. If these get hit, you're either going to burn down or you might get lucky and put it out, but don't guarantee it. In terms of ordnance, which is really where this aircraft shows a difference, you'll immediately notice there is no HVARs. That is, to be honest, fine by me. I mean, the less CAS holes that I see in this thing, the better. Because trust me, I've seen people find them in these things, even when spaded, and it is disgusting. You have access to 8 M8 bazooka rockets. Well, sorry, it's 8. 6. I don't know why I said 8. Probably because I read M8 and then said 8. I don't know why. We then have a single 500-pound bomb, a combination of one 500-pound bomb and 6 rockets, two 1,000-pound bombs, and two 1,000-pound bombs and a 500-pound bomb, which looks like this. If you've flown a Thunderbolt, this is familiar to you. You just don't get the rockets under the wings. To be fair, that is pretty good. I mean, the Mustang before it only has two 500-pounders, so it's certainly a step up. And then obviously you go into the D-25 to have the rockets as well, which is a huge benefit in ground forces. But for Air RB, it won't matter much because the 50 cals can destroy the majority of ground units. It's just medium tanks and heavy tanks you won't be killing. But overall, the aircraft had good armament options, and the secondary armament options was perfectly adequate. I mean, it's a Thunderbolt. You're going to get a lot for your money anyway. So, now that we've gone over the aircraft briefly, let's go into the in-depth Spade. I'll see you all in a minute. So now we're on my desktop, and if you go into my player card in the game, you'll notice there's a bit of, like, there's more air kills than there are shown here. I'll explain why in a minute. So, obviously, we're going over the P-47 D-22 RE, as we already know, and to start off with, we have Battle 1, which was 2 air kills, no ground kills, no assist, no death, 26,759 SL, 2,782 RP. Once again, no base bombs throughout the entire Spade, so I'm not even going to mention it. Battle 2, 2 air kills, 1 ground kill, 0 assists, and no death. 32 KSL, or 32.5 KSL, 1,359 RP, as that was a defeat. Battle 3, 2 air kills, 0 ground kills, 0 deaths, 0 assists. I did die in that battle, 17,281, 2,334 RP. Battle 4, which is the one you're going to be seeing today. 2 air kills, 17 ground kills, 1 assist, no deaths, 51k SL, 4,478 RP. Battle 5, 1 air kill, 16 ground units, 0 assists, no death, 32,500 SL, 4,201 RP. Battle 6, which went horrible, let's put it that way. 1 air kill, 0 ground kills, 0 assists, I did die, 7,087 SL, and 1,006 RP. Battle 7, 3 air kills, 8 ground units, 0 assists, didn't die, 36,500 SL, 2,996 RP. And the final battle to Spade the plane was 1 air kill, 13 ground units, 3 assists, and no death, with 40,195 SL, and just a bit under 4,000 RP for 3,942 RP. Not a bad Spade overall. Obviously, in total, we've had 8, 9, 10, 17 kills, I think that was, and 2 deaths. Now, you will notice on the player card there is, well, that is incorrect. That is due to bots, and obviously I don't count bots, because, well, bots actually do count towards your player card if you didn't know that. And I don't count them, because to me, what's the point? I mean, you're just being an idiot. Showing that you can kill bots is not exactly showing a pilot's skill. That's why I don't bring them up. So if you're confused, if you don't understand why I don't do that, the simple fact of the matter is I don't care about KD, I just care about having fun. This aircraft was a lot of fun to play, and whilst it did it did take me some time to get used to the plane, because obviously I'm not used to a stock Thunderbolt, it was still a lot of fun regardless. But anyway, let's go back into the game, and let's get into the battle, shall we? I'll see you all for Battle 4. So as mentioned, we're on Battle 4. This match took place and I was about a quarter spaded, if I remember rightly. And straight off the bat, I bet you can imagine what I was saying in my head, or at least at the time. Straight off the runway, aircraft's very slow to take off. And, well, it's just quarter spaded Thunderbolt, you can expect that. And the reason why I was thinking this match was probably going to be a bit of a failure was because we had our best plane, a D-28, strapped up with bombs, which immediately set myself to, yeah, this is probably going to be a poor battle. And as you can tell on the enemy team, we're actually fighting the British, which turned out to be a lot of the case in both the Mustang and this. I tended to either fight the British or a good mix between the Allies and the Axis forces put together in one team, which made for a very couple of interesting fights. So, since the Thunderbolt takes forever to get to altitude, I'm going to put it on 8 times speed just to get us along a bit, because trust me, you'll get grey hairs. And I know some of my viewers are some of the older generation, let's put it that way. I'm not saying you're old or you're outdated or something like Windows Vista, but there you go. Most of my viewers are, well, from what I've been able to tell in my analytics recently, most of my viewers are above the age of 45, so that gives you an idea. In other words, most of you are old enough to be my dad, put it that way. So, as you saw there, because obviously we skipped ahead a little bit just to get the plane up to altitude, I took a brief pass at that Spitfire Mark 5B. That's a 3.7 plane, and I'd actually argue he has better performance at this current stage than I do, except in a dive. We took a brief pass at each other. We didn't really do anything, like, we just flew past each other, fired a couple of shots, and didn't really care. And this is where the Spitfire pilot makes a grave error. He thinks I'm not ready for him to perform a defensive maneuver. I raised one wing to get a shot with at least 4 of the guns, because obviously I'm running 600 meters convergence, and I blow his wingtip off. This is where I probably shouldn't have done what I did, but to be fair, most of the enemy team was either on the deck or being dealt with at higher altitude, so I thought, what the hell, I'll just go down after him, and if need be, if I do die, I can at least get some ground targets in our favour. Obviously, we're getting a little fat at this point, and I obviously broke off to just give the Thunderbolt time to breathe and obviously unstiffen the controls, because she was getting a little stiff. But to be brutally honest, it didn't matter a whole lot because of what's about to happen in a moment. Lining up the Mark 5B for another shot. And that was a spark, which on my ping was actually rather surprising, but the guy goes for a turn and smacks it into the dirt for kill number 1. And it's around about this point where we're about to have a surprise visitor, this time from a Spitfire Mark 9, which we'll be seeing him very shortly. So as you'll notice, I'm keeping my head on a swivel, but that's not going to be a huge difference when the Spitfire Mark 9 is about to jump me. So over to the left there is the Spitfire, and I thought at this point, well, I've got 3,000 rounds, I honestly don't care about using about 600 to 800 on a few ground targets. So I thought I'll farm a little bit, then reclimb for the Spitfire to engage it. But as you saw there, the Thunderbolt does bleed speed like a pig when it's stuck. Well, of course, spaded, it isn't nice, but I mean, once it's spaded, if you fly it like the D-25, you'll be fine. I mean, I've flown the Hitler Bolt enough to know how this aircraft should handle, and it is very reminiscent. So the Spitfire at this point goes for a head-on, which I guess the Thunderbolt is not really the smartest thing, but it's what he does after. He immediately banks the plane over, and I try to pull inside of his turn, but I'm at low speed and I'm in a Thunderbolt. That's not happening. Knowing the danger that I was in, I decided to extend, which was probably the best course of action. The Spitfire gets in behind and starts shooting at 0.7 of a mile, which is very optimistic given Hispanos and their lackluster performance of damage. And at this point, I'm obviously, well, the team's obviously said, yep, we're going to engage it, and I'm like, yep, go ahead, I agree, and I keep the plane flying straight. Now on the deck, I don't actually think I can outrun this guy. So, I haven't got a lot of time to extend away from this guy, so I thought, whilst I'm going through, I might as well farm a couple of AAA. Just because it's there, it's in front of a windshield, I might as well get some extra RP towards the Spade, because, well, I want to get this thing spaded, because, well, those skins look nice, which I forgot to go over the skins, so we'll go over the end, or we'll go over the skins at the end. But team comes in, P-38J and P-51. I turn it for a shot against the Spitfire. The Spitfire reacts far too late. and catches some tracer bullets to the face, getting me my second kill for the match and my final kill for the match. Well, player kill for the match, I should really say. There's a reason why I mentioned that, because I do get a few bots in this battle. At this point, it's down to a Wyvern and a Halifax on the enemy team. We are down to 6 planes, and our only bomber left is a B-25. Obviously, I don't have any ordnance options unlocked at this moment, so, well, in this battle, so I decided to go for the lighter stuff and leave the heavier stuff for my teammates to deal with. Obviously including the B-25, because I don't know how spaded those guys were in this battle, but I would assume more spaded than me. So I reclimbed and I thought about going for the Wyvern, which I was thinking about it, but then I thought, realistically I'm not going to catch a Wyvern unless I've got a good dive. And as you'll notice, I'm shooting a burst and then looking up, because I'm keeping an eye on that Wyvern. Now, unfortunately, we're about to lose our B-25 to the Wyvern. I fire a burst and get out the way. I do get a couple of hits and dodge out the way of the Wyvern because, well, I'm not taking a head on with a Wyvern, and I'm most importantly not going to catch a Wyvern. So I decided, you know what, let's go for some ground targets, leave the team to chase him, and I'll just do my own thing. There's the assist for the Wyvern. And I'll swing the plane back to get some more ground targets. Because, well, they're there for a reason. I mean, I might as well grab some free RP, free credits, even though I've got 52 million SL. I honestly don't give a monkeys about getting SL. But, yeah, let's put it this way. This plane was rather quick to spade, and most importantly, it was a lot of fun. And we're coming up to the end of my contribution, obviously excluding the bots. And I was about to go for that pillbox, but a bot decided to blow the Kingdom Come before I could. I got very lucky without putting my nose in the ground there, let's put it that way, but even so, like, just having the thought process of having another Thunderbolt to play with was just perfect for all of us. I mean, the Discord went crazy when we saw this plane coming, because if you're not in the Discord server, I'll give you a link if you want it, of course. But to put it simply, we all love Thunderbolts. Nearly all of us love a Thunderbolt because we just love the plane. It's just so nice to fly, and with a skilled pilot, these things are practically untouchable. I mean, there are a few that can keep up with it, but even so, it's just a lot of fun to have the insurance of A, 850 cal machine guns, and B, having 2 skilled pilots, just to have a lot of fun with it. So at this point, this is where the player card starts to bullshit you. I start engaging the bots. Which, I mean, they're there. I'm not going to just ignore free RP and credits. But, like I say, these bots do count as player kills, so I've not included them in the Spade, because I want to be honest. So, that first bot that you saw on fire is going to go down, and that bot over there has just crashed, getting me 2 bot kills. I think I get a total of 6, but I'll wait till we gun down this one and then I'll call it here. And there we go. So like I say, that's what I thought of the P-47 D-22 RE overall. There has been a P-47 D... No, it's not a D, it's a B, I think? A B model? Which would be nice to have, but obviously that has been sent to the developers, so it's likely we might have another Razorback coming soon. But don't get your hopes up. But overall, I found this aircraft a lot of fun to play. Felt very nice to just get back into the swing of things with a Thunderbolt, especially a stock Thunderbolt, and just have a lot of fun with it. And obviously, since everyone in our Discord server wanted it, this aircraft was something that we all wanted, and, well, it's here now. Now, for those of you that may ask about the Thunderbolt Mark 1, at the moment I do not have the aircraft, so just bear that in mind. And before we end it here, I'm going to quickly go and show the skins for you. I'll see you in a minute. So we're back in the hangar, and obviously I'm just going to do a brief overview of the skins, and then obviously I'll end the video here. So obviously the stock camouflage skin is rather nice. I do like to check a look at the engine cowling personally. We then have an unlockable bicolor camouflage, which I don't know. This kind of looks disgusting in my opinion. It looks like someone's just taken a crayon, or like a 5-year-old's just taken a crayon and gone all over the plane. And then we have a purchasable Joan camouflage, which looks gorgeous. I have to admit, this skin looks lovely. But I'm not going to be spending any of my GE on that. But if this was if this was an unlockable skin, I'd be flying this thing a lot. Let's put it that way, just to unlock it. But anyway, I'm going to leave the video here. It's gone on for probably 20 minutes, which is one of my longer Spade reviews, but even so, it's worth it. I hope you enjoyed today's video on the P-47 D-22 RE, and I will catch you all on the next one.